Good morning, good afternoon. Just going to adjust my camera a little bit there. Let's have a look at the Six of Cups from the Waite today. It's a nice card. I like it. Although it does freak me out a little bit. I'll tell you why in a moment. But yeah, this is the Six of Cups. For me, it's the nostalgia card. It's all about looking back to things past that did you good, that bring you joy and happiness. So if we look in the Waite, I think it's quite important that there are indeed 6 cups on here. It would be a bit silly if there are only 4, or indeed 70. But they all seem to have flowers growing on them, and these are flowers that have actually grown. Okay, so that they're not just seedlings, they're not withering and dying, they're flowering, they're in bloom. They're at their height of their powers, if you like. Other things going on here. I like to think that this is some sort of homestead. This is a place of a card of home, looking back towards where you live, where your roots are, to a certain extent, maybe. But yeah, nostalgia. Nostalgia is the one term for me that I think of. I've often pondered this guy here. He seems like some sort of guard. He seems to be holding a spear. I don't know what that means, and maybe some sort of emotional protection. Maybe you're protecting yourself from sadness by looking back towards the good times. I'm not entirely certain. Why does this card freak me out a little bit? Well, a lot of people suggest that these are 2 children, but they just seem so out of proportion. Like, I mean, yeah, I understand that children come in different shapes and sizes, and depending on their age and etc. etc. But I just think that this one's like a giant child, whereas this one's, I don't know. It doesn't. Now I'm saying it out loud. It doesn't make a great deal of logical sense, but they proportionally they seem the same, but this one's just bigger. I don't know. It just kind of freaks me out a little bit. You've got this sort of mutant child. I've read up somewhere that this cross down here, on this cross and the shield, is symbolic of some things. I've read that it's attributed to the Norse rune that means love. I'm not so sure about that. I've also read that it's like a kiss. Again, I'm not entirely certain of that. For me, it's the cross of St Andrew, the saltire. So St Andrew, he loved Jesus so much that when he was crucified for his crimes of following his Lord and Master, if you like, he said, "Look, I don't deserve to be crucified in the same way that Jesus was, with an upright cross. So you need to put me on this more of an X-shaped cross, because I am not worthy." Which is nice. And that idea of sacrifice doesn't really go with the story of the Six of Cups for me, if you to be perfectly honest. It's also worth noting that the sixes do denote a little bit of victory, a little bit of overcoming adversity. We have gone through the rather nasty Five of Cups and the kind of stagnant Four of Cups. So you get this idea of emotional renewal. You're getting your zest for life back a little bit. Sense of harmony, a sense of happiness. Again, looking back to the good times. If the 6 comes up reversed, then maybe the good times weren't as good as what you perhaps look. Maybe you're looking back at the past through rose-tinted spectacles, and again, the rose-tinted spectacles term is one that that I often default to be perfectly honest. I think one of my failings as a tarot reader is having these sort of buzzwords attached to certain card placements, and yet you do need to look deeper. So maybe when I see the Six of Cups reverse, I'm looking at it through rose-tinted spectacles. It is a card of nostalgia, so maybe perhaps if it comes out reversed, you're living in the past too much. You're living in the past and not focusing on the present enough. Maybe the reversed 6 also kind of is kind of naive. Your expectations for whatever the situation is perhaps a little bit well defined, and you need to just wake up and smell the coffee a little bit. Perhaps your expectations of the situation are a little bit unrealistic. So it's a tricky one, the 6 reverse, because it depends on the dignification. For me, I do prefer that. And you know, you could be looking back to the past with eyes. I'm trying to choose my words here, carefully here. Sometimes the things that have happened in the past, that happen in childhood, maybe they're not quite as pleasant to think about when the six is up, right? You know, you think back to the joy and the fun of childhood. Maybe the reversal is reminding you of things that weren't quite so pleasant when you were a child, things that happened in the past. And it doesn't necessarily denote childhood either. I mean, obviously you've got children on the card, but things that have come before, I think, is a fairer way of putting it. So there you go. I'm going to cap it there. That's the Six of Cups from the Waite Smith Tarot.